Larry went to work after graduating from high school, went to work for NBTEL. He worked for them for 33 years. And he had lots of jobs there. And he liked people and people liked him, and so he did well. He was always on the go. There was always something to do, and he was very involved at church. And in 1998, he said to me, "I'm going to retire." And I said, "Retire? You're 53 years old and you can't retire." And he said, "Yes, I can't figure out my accounts at work, and things are changing at NBTEL," and so he retired. And by this time, the girls had started to notice that there was some issues. But in 2002, we knew that he needed to see the doctor. Nobody wanted to say much about what was wrong, even in Halifax. The specialist we saw down there said, "Well, we don't really know." And we did even consider, maybe it was depression. We still pushed the Alzheimer's away. We didn't want to think that it was that. But on July 31st, 2003, I had Larry at the hospital for an appointment, and the doctor confirmed. They called it vascular dementia, but it was time to start him on Reminol. Things changed drastically in 2012, so really we had 3 hard years. We just did what we could. I knew that he wouldn't want to go to a nursing home or anything like that, and so I said, "I'll keep him." And we had lots of hard times, but we had lots of good times. He was a good guy.
For me, when we knew Dad was sick, I was just starting my family. So I have 3 girls, and my oldest came with us to one of the appointments in Halifax, and so it was life-changing for all of us, and we didn't want to believe it, and it didn't really seem real. It seemed like we were living in a dream, and that this wasn't really going to happen. So I think that we just went on with life and tried to be as normal as possible. I guess all of the other nieces and nephews and cousins were old enough to understand, but my girls didn't really understand, so they just took Bub as he was. And we tried to tell them what he used to be like, and so that they would have a better memory of Bub.
And I think the other part was like, Dad was so young. It just wasn't fair. He loved kids and he loved his grandchildren. And they loved him. When we talk about family, I think one of the biggest things that, why we did what we did was how we were raised. We were raised in a Christian home, and family was important. And no matter what you go through it as a family. And that was one of the big things we did, no matter what we needed to do to keep Dad home here. Mom did a lot of the work, but we came. There would be, Mom would call me on the phone in the wintertime. It would be 10 o'clock. They like to stay up late in the evenings, and they like to watch TV, and she'd say, "Oh, I didn't want to call you, but I can't get Dad up off the couch." And I said, "It's all right, we'll come." So I came from New Maryland. I'm not that far away. And the minute we would come in, I'd come in the house or whatever, she'd say, "Look, you made Jody come all this way," and up he'd get. And I think a lot of the times he knew so much, but he just wanted us here no matter what age we were. And we did our very best. We persevered, and people say, how do you do things like that? And we were determined, you know, we didn't have help. We didn't have government funding. We did it ourselves. We did it with family. And, you know, and I know everyone doesn't have that opportunity to do that. But it makes those years, even though they were rough years at times, there will be time he didn't ever have to spend a minute in the hospital. He got to pass away at home. And he even though he couldn't tell us those things, we knew that those things were important to him, and it made us feel better. I know if he could have told us, it meant everything to him, and it meant everything to us to keep him at home.
Like Jody said, there was no opportunity to have help. You know, Mom did try, but you know, they said no, you couldn't have. You had to spend so much money in order to have this and that. So that certainly is a huge gap in the system, knowing that it is cheaper to keep people at home if you have the help to do that than putting someone in a nursing home. And I know that the Alzheimer Society is working hard to address that, because I'm sure there's many people that are feeling guilty, and you know, that they had to put their loved one in a home. But I know that you know, we were just very fortunate that we all lived here, and it was exhausting for Mom, but she still was young enough to be able to do that, where a lot of wives are in their 80s, they just can't do that. You know, Mom did admit when Dad passed away, she was near the end, she was exhausted, which I don't know how she did it, to be honest.
But she was in the best shape she's ever been in.
It's something that I'm hoping that will get addressed, that you know, and giving people that want to help and want to do that the opportunity to learn how to help people. Not just, you know, people need that training to do that. They need to be paid a fair wage to look at it. That's a hard job. And you know, there's lots of people out there that want to do that, that want to help.
It's a terrible disease. It's just a terrible disease, and it robbed him of so much. And because he was young, and you know, I don't think people realize how terrible a disease it is. And I wouldn't have done anything different. I don't think. Like I said, I was tired, but I don't think I would have done anything different than what I did.